Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments, and I am bringing another video in the series for back to school to you. If you are watching this series, then you'll know that this is kind of where we left off with completing this page and adding this memorabilia to this page. So I just wanted to show you some of the other pages that I've been working on. You might think, well, that's odd. This is a back to school book and she's got Mickey Mouse. But this is my continuing my senior year, and a huge part or a huge story from my senior year is that I participated in something that most of the world would probably know as Senior Ditch Day. And I didn't go to school, to my school, but I did go to school in that my mom was a teacher, so I went and helped her out in her classroom. And I was not, out at the beach or anything like that. Growing up in Southern California, that's where most of my friends went. They went to the beach. But I went to help my mom in her classroom. But then when we went back to school, we were required to take one of these white cards like this back to school to tell them why we were absent. And instead of, right here where it says today's absent, instead of making something up or lying, I said senioritis was why I was out. And then on the card that I gave them, I also put something like sore throat or something next to it. Well, they decided that they weren't going to allow that, and so they issued me a Saturday school, which was the punishment for being truant, they said. And so they told me I had to go to Saturday school. But then on the day they assigned me to go to Saturday school, the person the adult responsible for being there at Saturday school was unavailable. So they said, well, so we're going to reschedule your Saturday school to the day after grad night. Grad night in Southern California is at Disneyland. I think they still do this. They were doing it when I graduated anyway, in 1987, where all the seniors get on a bus somewhere. Let's see, this says we departed from Santana at 7 in the evening. Santana was my high school. We departed at 7 o'clock in the evening, and we came back at 8 o'clock the next morning. Mind you, it was a 2.5-hour drive to get to Disneyland. So literally we arrived there about 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night. And we were playing at Disneyland until about 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, got back on the buses and drove back home. And as soon as we got off the bus, me and several other seniors had to go straight into the school and serve our Saturday school. But the cool part about that was the responsible adult who was supposed to be there at the Saturday school took roll and then said, "Congratulations, you've served, have a nice day." And we all got to leave, which was so nice because we were all going to probably sleep through it anyways. Anyway, so just a quick rundown of what I did on these pages. These are again memorabilia pages. Because I don't have any photographs on these pages, I wasn't worried about trying to put this memorabilia into anything specific to keep it from leaching out and damaging photographs. I just went ahead and adhered it to the page. This page of Mickey, I went ahead and cut around several of the bubbles of Mickey so that I could just put part of the page on here, and then I mounted it to a black cardstock and mounted the black cardstock to my page, to my white page. And yeah, I think that's about all I need to tell you about how these came together. They are mounted on black cardstock and then adhered to my page. Same thing over here. However, I did do some strips where I just used my CM decorative trimmer to make some waves using this cute Mickey paper. And I just put a top row and a bottom row on the page because most of it's covered by this memorabilia that they actually gave us from Disneyland. And then same thing over here. This is the other side of that page that I had cut around the circles. and again, mounted to, both of these are mounted on black cardstock, and then the black cardstock is adhered to my page, and I will journal about all those details of that story that I just gave you when I have a minute to do so. In the meantime, let me get rid of these 2 pages. We're going to do a couple of things in this video. I'm going to show you how to do a pocket page, and I'm going to do prom photos. So that's going to be fun. So the first thing we're going to do is identify our papers. I've got these cool, again, my school colors are purple and gold. So I pulled this, what's left of this sheet, from the designer paper pack for back to school. I have this selection or strip, and this is what's left of the crayon and anyway, another sheet from the decorative pack that has the buses on the back. And so we're going to use a little bit of that. These 2 purple sheets are from a Fast to Fab paper pack. So we have Fast to Fab pages where everything is printed directly on them, and then we have these cool Fast to Fab paper packs where the paper is designed to look like it's the start of a layout already. And I'm going to go ahead and use this as my inspiration for my page. You'll notice it's printed the same on both sides, and I'm going to use this and put the kind of the file folder effect towards the outer side of my page. And I'm using, the reason I'm doing a pocket page here is because I have some miscellaneous photos and things that I want to put, but it's not really enough to create a full 2-page layout. I also had this stack of all of my progress reports from, not all of them obviously, but from probably my senior year, collected. Some college AP tests, results, things, and stuff like that. Anyway, this I just want to put into a pocket. I don't want this to be on display. So I'm going to create a pocket on this side of the page to hold on to this memorabilia. I'm going to set this aside though for right now because we don't need it kind of in our way. The trouble is I have to find a spot where I can set it. So we'll stick it right there. So I have an extra page, and the reason I have the extra page is because I'm going to use this extra page to create my pocket. But I also want to use this portion of my designer paper to decorate my page. So I'm just going to grab a pencil, and I'm going to mark on my page so that I get this cut in the right spot. And because I could just measure it. Measuring would be a fine thing to do, but it's just as easy to just make a couple of marks at the top and the bottom so that I know where the bottom of this lined portion is going to sit. Okay, now I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to grab my trimmer, and I'm going to cut my page right there where I made those marks. So I'm just going to line it up on my cutting line. I'm going to cut straight down and just set this piece aside. Then I'm going to grab my designer paper, and I'm going to cut this section off. Just like so. And that's going to get adhered to the bottom right here. And this is going to be adhered to the top. Oop, and I missed just a tiny little sliver of my stripe, so I've got kind of a dotted line going down the edge of my paper. So I'm just going to fix that and try to cut that off. There we go. because I don't want that on this section. All right. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my decorative trimmer, which is this one, and I'm going to cut a portion of this with my decorative trimmer. I'm going to use this wavy edge right here, and all I've done is put my paper, as you can see, right at the edge of the little bumper. There's little divots for where this other blade sits in, and that's where I put the very corner of my paper, is right there at the corner at about 1 3/8 if you're looking at the measurements on the side right here. All right, so just at the very corner where you go down for that well right there is where I am choosing to cut. So I've got my paper all nice and straight. Going to cut that wavy line in right there like that. Now, just to make things a little bit easier for myself so that it looks nice and sharp, I'm going to grab my scoring blade, the orange one, and I'm going to swap that out here in my trimmer real quick so that I can score this paper, and it'll fold just really, really nice over my edge. All right, so I'm going to just line this up at the 1/2 inch on the 1/2 inch grid line on the side. All right, and I'm going to be really careful not to cut it. I just want to score it so it's going to fold nice and crisp. All right, so that is scored. Swapping my blades out because I'm known to forget, and then I wind up scoring something when I think I'm going to cut, and anyway, it just kind of doesn't work super well. So putting that back up there. All right, so let me set this out of the way as well, as that is memorabilia. All right, so we're going to just go ahead and adhere this down to my full sheet. There I go, getting excited again, and my adhesive just gets excited with me. It doesn't break off when I need it to. All right, so I'm going to adhere this to my full-size page at the outer edge, just like that. Okay, so that one's done. Now I'm going to go ahead and adhere the polka dot piece to my cut page, the one with the hinges attached, not the piece I cut off. So, and I'm going to line it up with the center and the bottom, just like so. All right. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this paper, and I'm going to put my adhesive all the way down, well, not all the way, but you know, as we do in clumps, down the center, and I'm also going to put it at the peaks and the valleys of my trimmed side. All right, so I've got it all the way down this straight side, and then in the peaks and the valleys all the way down the other side. Now, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and I'm going to, so you can see this better, I'm going to move this. All right, so I'm going to line this up on my grid so it's nice and straight. Then I'm going to take my page and I'm going to just adhere about a 1/2 inch on. This is where having a mat that you're working on comes in handy, because then you can kind of, rather than trusting your eyeball, you can just measure it. Remember how we scored it at the 1/2 inch line. That should make it easier for us to fold this over and adhere it to the purple polka dot part of our page. All right, there we go, just like that. I have a little bit of a pucker right there, but I think it'll be okay. All right, now what we want to do is we want to adhere this on to this page, this 1/2 a page onto the full page right here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use photo tape. If you've not used photo tape before, photo tape is your friend when you're dealing with a project such as this, because you want to be able to seal your edges and you want it to not come undone. I have tried using other things when old CM went under and we were left to our own devices. I tried using other things. Nothing that I have found works as well as the photo tape. You just place the photo tape on right on the jeeping, so right along the edge of this raised jeeping, right where the hinge is on your page. Okay, and then I'm going to place some more photo tape along the bottom and the top edge of this page. Again, moving that out of the way so you can see better. It's hard to see white on white. All right, so we're going to add a portion of this. Now, you probably don't need it all the way along the edge. It depends on what types of things you're trying to keep from slipping out of your pocket. I have large things in this pocket, so I don't really need a solid edge all the way across, but I do definitely need my adhesive to go all the way to the folded edge right here so that my pocket is sealed from this side all the way. And then this piece will just go next to it. It's almost, you can see I have about a 1/2 inch gap in between here. That might be hard to see on the photo, but so you don't have to use quite so much of the photo tape if you are, trying to conserve, or you can just do photo tape all the way across if that works well for you. Whatever you're able to do. When I was on a budget and I had to be really conscious of how much adhesive I was using and all of that kind of thing, then I was a lot more careful where this was concerned. Okay, so this one, you can see there's more of a gap here, but that's okay. As long as I have my adhesive go all the way to the edge right here, everything will be just fine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and strip off these cover pieces for the adhesive to expose the sticky part. It's kind of like taking the pieces off of a Band-Aid. All right, and then once we have the adhesive exposed, then what we're going to do is take our full sheet right here, and very carefully I'm going to line my hinges up together so that my pages are in the same place. So just put your hinges together so your jeeping is together, and then your edges of your pages should line up perfectly as well. Okay, so push that down so that it adheres. It becomes one page when you do this. So you have just this pocket right here where you can slide your memorabilia right in. All right, so now I'm going to grab my report cards, and those are going to go straight in here. Now, if you're putting something that's, you know, really shallow in there, you might want to turn it so that it's more easily seen, so it doesn't get lost in the pocket. Sometimes that happens. And I just try to kind of, if I have multiple things in that pocket, I try to kind of layer them just a little so I don't end up with a big old fat clump in the center and nothing on the outer edge of my page. It'll just make your album lay a lot more smoothly. You could try to kind of arrange them so that they're a little bit fun and fanciful. It's hard to make, you know, report cards look fun and fanciful, but, you know, you could add some different angles or intentionally have some pulled out farther than the others. Just kind of like that. That's the gist, okay? Now I also have this piece that I thought I might add to the outer edge here. I don't know, I'm going to think about that. This is one of our laser borders that came with the Bookworm collection a while back. So I may add that in just because it is kind of yellow. It might add a little bit to the color scheme. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking about that. The jury's still out on that one. But I might do that, we'll see. All right, so putting that tape away, I'm just going to scoot this over a bit so you can see the rest of what we're going to do here. All right, so I have this paper here, which I thought would make a nice complement to the crayon and pencil paper that's on this side. And I want to add some of that to this side, but in the meantime, while I'm thinking about that, let's go ahead and put this wallpaper sheet down to cover the left side of the layout. And okay, so dots to dots so that the center is all polka dots together. There we go. Okay. Now what we could do is just do a quick oh, you know what we could do? Oh, I have the perfect theme. So in this in the sticker pack that comes with this collection are these wonderful super long pencils. Do you see this? They're like 12 inches long. Super, super long. Wouldn't that be cool? This is going to be cool. I like this idea. Okay, so we're going to just put this pencil straight down the middle of this. I'm going to have to turn it. Sorry, guys. Straight down the middle of our striped zone right here. Ta-da! I love that. That's just enough to kind of pull some of the yellow from this side into this side. Okay, now I'm going to try to figure out how to display some of this. So bangs to the sky, that was what my daughter was saying the other day. That's what 80s hair reminds her of, and I think I had just gotten my hair cut, so of course my hair was crazy big, because when you just go to the beauty parlor, that's the way it looks. And these pictures are from a recognition night that we had at church for all of the seniors. So I'm just going to trim this picture just a little bit because it doesn't need to be so, I don't need all this black covering up the pretty purple that I have. So just trimming that just a little bit so that it's a more reasonable sized photo. I look like I'm having a delightful time there. Kind of crazy. And I'm going to use this, I think I'm going to use this, these stars, and we'll just maybe go ahead and frame this, mat this photo. Because that will bring a little bit more of the gold into the page as well. And then I'm definitely going to need to trim this program a bit because it is, I don't want the page to be all about the program. So got that. And my big hair, I'm going to trim just a little off the top of this. Haha, no pun intended. Trim a little off the top. Alright. I cracked myself up. Okay, so this picture is going to go over here with this. This was my proficiency certificate saying that I can take shorthanded 80 words a minute. Is that crazy? I don't know. I don't think I could do it today. In fact, I know I probably couldn't. I am not that good. But and I don't know. We could add this to our page. I'm going to go ahead and trim this up so it doesn't take as much space, and then we'll see where we are. Okay, so there's one. We'll do this paper is old and it was stuck in a magnetic album, so the back side has residue from that album still stuck on it, and it doesn't slide real well. I was just trying to slide it and it just didn't want to go. So trimming this up. One more. Okay, there we go. And then we could trim this up just a little also, just because we don't need to take up the whole page with this. Turn this around. Okay, almost ready here. All right. Jade. I'm going to layer these up just a little. Do you see all these tear marks? That was me trying to get this to peel off of the horrible paper that it was stuck to. In that album. So yeah, I definitely have no love lost for magnetic albums. Other than the fact that it gave my mom somewhere to hold on to the information that she was trying to save for me. They just destroy things. You know, but back 30 years ago we didn't know that. So it is what it is. Okay, so just trying to make all of these little bits fit. All right. We've got this and this. All right, so now I'm going to just take a quick look at embellishments. I had a couple set out here just to see what might work so that we can adjust things as needed. I'm just going to maybe do something with that. We can do something with a locker, maybe. Maybe stick this up here. Something along that line. I'm just trying to see what will fit. What will fit? Actually, I could stick this guy kind of over here. School, learn, school. Again, this is kind of towards the end of the book, so I'm using up some of my embellishments that I didn't use before, and making them work for what we need to do, or what I have left. So I've got this one that says Smarty Pants. This one can definitely get popped up. And we still need to adhere all this down, but so that I have a plan, I'm just kind of laying it out so I know what I'm doing. Back to the books and Smarty Pants. And we've got the locker, and maybe I'll try to find something else small. There is a cute little, there's a couple of little smiley faces maybe I could add. All right, when we get that far, we'll get that far. Okay, but for now, let's go ahead and get these put down. So I could put, I know what I can do. I can do a little journal box in there. If I could figure out what I did with the journal boxes. I stacked them up so they were all so nice and neat. Now I don't know where they are. There they are. Okay, let's see. What's going to work in there? Can do that one, and then that way I can write a couple things on it. Okay. I'll stick this up here. My shorthand teacher's name was Miss Berkebile. I think her first name was Ruth. Actually, let's just make this straight if we can. There we go. All right, then get some of this put down. can hear my son upstairs singing. He's so funny because he's a cutie pie and he really enjoys singing, which I love that he enjoys singing. But he's really kind of shy about his love of singing, so he doesn't do it in front of people very often. But he will sing at home, and occasionally he'll just launch into song. We like to watch musicals here at our house. I've taught my kids all to love musicals. And right now he's watching The Music Man upstairs. So if you hear a little bit of that going on, that's why. I keep hearing him sing along with Professor Harold Hill upstairs. It's kind of fun. Okay, now see how I'm kind of letting my memorabilia go off the page? I'm going to fix that here in just a little bit, just so that you know. But that is just because I don't quite have enough room for all of it, and I have a lot of dead space in the on these white papers, and so I'm just kind of letting it go off the edge, and then I will go ahead and trim that with an X-Acto knife very carefully when I'm done with adhering all that I have to adhere on this page. That's just kind of a lot. All right, sticking all that down. We're going to get this fun stuff. Okay. Going to grab my, what did I do with them? There they are. My foam squares, and just pop up this computer real quick. Just in a couple places. Just to give it some depth. And another thing that I haven't really used very much in my layouts thus far, so I have a bunch of them, is these acrylic stickers. So I have, because I've used 2 sets of embellishments in this book, I have these other acrylic stickers here I could use, or I could just use these. And because I'm going to, I think, add a happy face down here, I'm just going to add a happy face up here as well. And just add a little bit of a fun little element, little whimsy to the top part. Alright, now this part down here I'm going to add some foam squares to as well, just very quickly. And this video is getting to be kind of long, so I may just go ahead and do, I was planning on doing the prom pages with this, but I think actually, now that I'm looking at the time, we probably are going to need to do that in a separate video. So, because I don't want to keep you guys forever. So we'll worry about that, the prom pictures, for next time. Alright, so I'm just going to overlap this a little bit with my actual items on the page. Going to add, whoa, that was kind of loud. Somebody dropped something upstairs. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So we're going to have learn and then school, school, learn, and then a little more school. Oh, that was kind of close to my edge. Okay. We actually are almost done with these pages, so I'm not too worried about it. The length of the video so far. I think this will be just the end of what we do tonight, which is okay. And then we'll do the rest another time. All right. School, school, school. All right, so let me show you how I trim up. Oh, I still need to adhere that down too. Let me show you how I trim up my pages. So I have a little X-Acto knife that looks about like that I use, or you can also just open your scissors and use the sharp edge of your scissors to do this. Go ahead and grab your zero centering ruler if you have one. If you don't, then grab a different ruler of some kind, and so that you can make sure that this cut is straight, because you're not going to want to have to do it twice. So I just line it up right at the edge of the jeeping, which is where I want the edge of my page to go, or my memorabilia to stop. Cut carefully and remove the overlapping, the offending piece, as my husband would say. And you just have to be very careful. Now that's the way I remove it if it's over one of the edges that has the jeeping on it. If you're over on the edge like this one down here, I just simply flip it over so I can see the part that is over, and I trim it off with my scissors. You could use your X-Acto knife for that part as well if you want. But yeah. So I think we'll just stop right there. I do still need to adhere these portion of the design elements on, but I can do that without keeping you. And then next time we will do prom. All right. Thanks so much for joining me this time around. I really do appreciate you taking the time, and I hope that it's worthwhile for you and you're getting some great ideas to put in your back to school albums. And I hope that the pockets actually are a great asset to your albums, because you don't have to adhere down every little piece of memorabilia. It really does work well if you just stick them in a pocket, so they can be easily pulled out, especially once the page protectors are put on. Then you still have that opening on the side, and you can reach in and pull these out if you want to, and then put them back fairly easily. All right, thanks so much. I hope you have a great day and that you'll have many more creative moments.